Cougars roar. Callaway Cougars roar. We roar because we are respectful. We treat others the way we want to be treated.
Well, I think a new family coming into Callaway, they would see that we are different in terms of how we are going to greet you, how we're going to embrace you.
Students, good morning. Be reminded that we are respectful and that we treat each other the way we want to be treated.
Here at Callaway, we've talked a lot about what a restorative community looks like. One of the main aspects of that is students knowing that they have a voice, students knowing that they can speak to a problem that they may have and know that they can come to somebody to be able to solve that problem.
Children need that. They need that time to be able to process what's going on in their lives. They're little people, but they're dealing with adult issues. To me, restorative practices helps these children to deal with everyday issues.
If I had to describe what a restorative community looks like, I would say that it is one that engages each of the individuals and tries to meet them where their needs are.
Sometimes something can happen at home or can happen at school where a kid may have a conflict and they need it resolved.
We're teaching respect, we're teaching patience, we're teaching turn-taking skills on just so many different levels and helping the kids to work with one another.
Today we're going to be discussing a topic about friendship.
The first thing I think of when I think of restorative practices in the classroom is circles. Circles are amazing.
When I sit in a circle with my classmates, it feels like I am open and I have my own chance to have my opinion. We share what we do at home, what we like to do at school.
You get to share your emotions about different things. And you also get to talk about, like, if you're in a bad mood or you have a problem, you could form a circle and then just talk about that problem.
When I think of accountability in restorative practice circles, one thing I like to think about is when a student is being accountable, they recognize what they've done and how they've made someone else feel as a result of what they've done. It's important for two things to happen. One, that the student who is in the wrong is able to understand that they've done something wrong, and for them to understand that they can get beyond it.
We always want to hold students accountable for their behavior. What we want to make sure that they know and understand is how they've impacted the community that they're in.
We're a school where we make every attempt not to be punitive, to give the student the opportunity to make the right decision, to undo their wrongs and make them right, and not so much by telling them to do it, but letting them come to the conclusion that this is the right thing to do.
The impact that we've seen over the years with the restorative practices has been one where we've seen students make better choices over time. Students that have engaged in those practices with us and have learned about making better choices and engaging in the cycle of problem solving have over time made better choices.
What we have found that truly is exciting is there has been a real transformation. After just a few months, the first year where they really focused on implementing in a big way, we were hearing from teachers the school feels different. We walk in, it's calmer. There's less shouting and screaming in the hallway, fewer fights happening, and certainly suspensions truly went down.
I think when students are used to hearing thoughts that they don't agree with all the time, they're not as overwhelmed to hear something new because they're in this constant practice of hearing things from a lot of different people, a lot of different perspectives. Students are a lot more likely to be open to their classmates and their teachers as opposed to just feeling closed off. It's about learning and changing and being willing to change.
Restorative practices has taken some time to take root at Callaway Elementary School, as it does in all of our schools. It's not an overnight fix, it's a process. We call it a restorative journey.
It's a continuing journey. Kids come in every year. I think one of the biggest challenges with restorative practice is when you have your set community of kids and a new person has to enter into the group, and just trying to get them accustomed and understanding how we do things.
We sometimes acquire students who have been maybe behavioral issues at other schools. We're talking about children who live in areas where they are taught, if someone hits you, hit them back.
Instead of letting that student come into the school and change the culture, the students at the school let that student know, this is how we resolve conflicts here, and they pull them in a positive way.
It's not fist first. That can't be our first rationale. We have to be able to use our words. We have to be able to communicate with each other.
Our community needs to know that it takes a village to raise a child, and this mindset of being restorative with students, it's going to take a change, and it's going to take the community as a whole owning how we resolve issues with one another.
Coping skills, social functioning, that all comes down to the whole restorative practice, because these are the tools that we need the kids to have so that they can grow up and be functioning adults.
Children should be happy, children should feel safe, and all of those great things that I think children should experience, and especially in school.
I love seeing the confidence build in students slowly, and it makes me feel happy that it's not because of me. It's because it's something intrinsic and something that they built for themselves, and that me taking a step back allowed them to take a step up.